Today, we're going to talk about my favorite anti-Trump YouTube channels that are out there. Now, there's only some 32 days left until the U.S. presidential elections, and I got to confess, I'm a little worried. No, more than that, I'm kind of terrified. The very thought of Donald Trump being reelected to the presidency, which there's a very real possibility of, has me just horrified. So, it's more important now than at any time in your life, maybe any time in history, to keep informed and advised and engaged with the political landscape of America and what's going on. And fortunately, there's a number of YouTube channels that will help you to do that. And we're going to talk about those today. Over the past few years, we've seen a huge rise in the amount of anti-Trump content being produced. And YouTube and social media have really evolved to become the epicenter of the resistance. They really are the focal point of the grassroots struggle to stop Trump and everything he's trying to do. He's one polarizing guy, but his fans are just as passionate as his critics, and the divide in America keeps growing. It turns political debate into a nasty game of us versus them. But luckily, in the middle of all that noise, there are some voices pushing back, calling out the nonsense and keeping things in check. And you'll find a lot of those voices right here on YouTube and the podcasts, blogs, you name it. The mainstream media and major networks haven't been exactly at their best with holding Trump accountable, and that's left a gap. People want transparency. They want truth to power, and are tired of all the scandals and chaos that have defined Donald Trump's time. So yeah, YouTube channels are more than just bashing Trump. They're fighting. They're fighting for honesty, for fairness, and for freedom. Yeah, freedom. I'm going to start today by talking about three of the channels that I'm not including on my list. Quite frankly, just because they're too darn big. They're the gold standard in commentary on Trump and politics. And I think everybody knows of them, so they're not even on my list of 10. Mine are about favorites of mine. And these three, each one of them has in excess of 3 million subscribers. And as I said, they really are the defining standard in political commentary. They are Ben Meiselas and the Midas Touch Network, David Pakman and the David Pakman Show, and Brian Tyler Cohen. All three of these are exceptional channels, and they do a great job. So they also have legal analysis, separate from political analysis, that they provide with Michael Popak at the Midas Touch, and when Glenn Kirshner works with Brian Tyler Cohen. Well worth watching, highly recommended. But let's move on to my 10 favorites that I use on a daily basis. So let's get going. These are the sites that I frequent most. They're in a random order, really no ranking implied, just kind of how I found them in my bookmarks. I came across most of these sites. They were sent to me by the YouTube algorithm. As I started looking into Never Trump and anti-Trump sites, these were being suggested videos to me, and that's how I found many of the channels. All of them have less than 1 million, but more than 100,000 subscribers. There's a link in the comments below to all the channels that I talk about in this video, so please feel free to go through them and subscribe to them after you've subscribed to me, of course. Now, obviously, there are going to be a lot of sites that aren't on my list, and some really great sites. I've basically just put down the ones that I spend the most time on, and if you have a particular site that you'd like to mention or have me look at or have other people look at, add that to the comments below, too. Okay, we're going to start off with the Real American channel with 337,000 subscribers. It's a well-established podcast with several hosts, but my favorite really is Chip Franklin. He's an old guy like me, crusty, outspoken, not afraid to tell it like it is. He's also a very highly accomplished and widely respected TV and media journalist commentator, and just to boot, he's a veteran stand-up comedian and musician as well. He's got the confidence and experience to tell people what you need to know. Now, moving on to a much younger perspective, we come to Jack Cocchiarella. I have a number of Gen Z under 30 commentators and channels on my list, and Jack was the first one I started watching and following. He's a young, progressive, liberal, a commentator, and I believe he's an activist with the Democratic Party as well, from what I've known. I started following him. There are several young people who are quite active in the anti-Trump movement, and some of them could well end up being our politicians and leaders of the future. So, this is a channel well worth watching, gives you a different perspective, that of the younger people, and I suggest you subscribe and follow him. Now, Hysteria is a channel podcast with Erin Ryan and Alyssa Mastromonaco. And it's one of the most enjoyable and entertaining of them all. Wow, do they ever bring it on. And I got to tell you, they don't hesitate to use profanity, truck driver profanity, when appropriate. They do a great job of expressing their views in a straightforward, no bullshit manner. Bravo, ladies. Please keep up the wonderful work. You've got a great channel. So, staying with the female perspective, we come next to Gina Bonanno and her channel, Raw News and Politics. She has 117,000 subscribers. Do you ever have one of those days where you just want to sit down with someone you know and laugh at the absurdity of Donald Trump and his followers and his supporters? Well, Gina is just the person to be with. She's just so refreshing. You can just sit there and see her joy and amazement in telling stories of what the latest fiasco is that Donald Trump has led us into. I really enjoy tuning in with her. Okay, so now we get back to Gen Z hosts with Harry Sisson, and his channel has 125,000 subscribers. I mean, what can I say? He is young, but his enthusiasm and energy bursts through the screen. I kind of smile when I watch him, think to myself, was I ever that young? Unfortunately, I think I was, and I maybe even see a little bit of myself in him. He's doing a great job, and I can recommend his channel to people of all ages. Jessiah Eberlan and Pondering Politics is one of the most impressive of the younger content creators that are speaking out about Trump world. He's got 399,000 subscribers, and his commentary and analysis is detailed, thorough, and very comprehensive. Doesn't surprise me at all that his channel is growing at such a rapid rate. And frankly, I expect to hear lots more from him in the coming years. Let's get back to my own generation. The Countdown with Keith Olbermann has 210,000 subscribers. He has a distinguished career. He's a seasoned professional who worked for many years as a sports broadcaster with several major networks. I don't know how much more I can say about a man who creates a video with a thumbnail that includes the quote, "If there's no hell, I hope they make one for Trump." Thank you, Keith Olbermann. What can I say about Luke Beasley, the most successful Gen Z channel on my list? He's approaching 900,000 subscribers, soon to hit that million mark, which is just phenomenal. He's a machine. I think he's posted 3,300 videos to date, and he's only 21 years old. Talk about having an impact on the world and doing something with your life. I don't know what's ahead for this kid, but I'm telling you, his channel is hot. Tim Miller is the current host of The Bulwark with 670,000 subscribers. He was a well-known political strategist with deep ties in the Republican Party. Now, that's the Republican Party pre-Trump. He's now one of Trump's harshest critics and a cornerstone of the Never Trump movement. So many of these channels are run by people who are progressives, left-leaning liberals. It's really good to see a mainstream conservative, center-right conservative speaking out and fighting against the madness that's engulfed their party. So, I really enjoy his commentary. It's from a different perspective, but it's solid and it's strong, and everybody should be watching this channel. Last, but definitely not least on my list, is Farron Cousins, with his channel, which is aptly named Farron Balanced. He is an experienced journalist with over 20 years experience working with progressive and left-leaning media. His channel brings a strong, principled, entertaining voice, and he has 525,000 subscribers. I like his style. I like the way he talks. I like the way he presents himself. Great channel, well worth subscribing to. So, there you have it. Those are the channels that I recommend people monitor who want to stay advised and informed about what's going on and want to get the latest dirt on Donald Trump and his cadre of what they're doing. Now, any one of those channels, I would love to have as a guest to be interviewed on my channel, or I'd love to be on their channel. But the reality of it is, I don't think my audience is big enough for it to be worth their time or worth their while. I've been at this a couple of months now. It's gone very well. I've gotten up to 8,000 subscribers now, which is pretty good for 2 months. It often takes people years to get to that level. But it's a long way to go. And I would really appreciate if you guys would give me a hand. I need subscribers, I need likes, and I need comments on videos. And I need you to tell people about it and share these pages so other people come here too. Once again, I'm a 70-year-old Canadian who's determined to make an impact in the world, and I'm going to do that by being successful on social media. Going to make it on YouTube. Anyway, thanks an awful lot. You had yourself a great week, and we'll get out there with the next video soon. Bye.